This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Truth be told, I did not come up with this on my own. I found it, saw it, captured it, and thought, well, this was kind of interesting. So on Saturday, a really good Big 12 matchup will feature Utah and Oklahoma State. Okay, the two quarterbacks in that game, Cam Rising and Alan Bowman, have a combined age of 49. Both are in their 7th year of college. 7th year.
They've played for a combined 5 schools.
Oklahoma State is ranked 14th. Utah is ranked 12th, but it gets better. On Sunday, the next day, in the National Football League, the Indianapolis Colts, quarterbacked by 22-year-old Anthony Richardson, will take on the Chicago Bears, quarterbacked by 22-year-old Caleb Williams. Their combined age, 44.
That was the stat that was circling around yesterday, and it's just crazy. I mean, the 44 part doesn't seem crazy to me, but the 49
right. The 49,
part
right.
seems absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Mm-hmm. Bullfighter has accepted the challenge or assignment. He said, I will be looking for those sculptures when I head there this weekend to the DFW area.
Good deal.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see what they come up with. The Red Raider baseball team has published some. This is softball. They've published some softball fall ball schedule. Our softball expert says I plan on making a few of these games. # excited for the program. Yeah, I think probably they've got an extra light shining on them with all the additions that they've made and their $1 million pitcher and brand new coach. And I'd say I don't know if it's renewed excitement. I would say it's excitement for the softball program. High expectations, I would imagine.
You would think so. Yeah. I mean, seriously. I mean, you would think. I mean, if you're not deep into the postseason, you kind of didn't get your money's worth.
I don't know if this is the case, but I'm glad you're going to the game. This texter says, I'm going to the game for the sake of my sanity. I know the broadcasters on TV will not stop bringing up the border conference on Saturday. Okay. Well,
I will bet the border conference gets mentioned more on Saturday than it has in the last 5 years.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, probably fair. The last time these two teams played was September the 16th, 2017. So that's 7 years and a couple of days ago. Nick Shimonek had 6 touchdowns in that game. Dylan Cantrell had the go-ahead score on a 3-yard run as the Red Raiders beat Arizona State 52-45. 58,547 at Jones Stadium that night. Good passing performance for the Red Raiders. They were 37 of 50 for 543 yards and no interceptions. Arizona State, 27 of 41 for 326 and no interceptions. That's a lot of passing yards without any interceptions. Mm-hmm. So either the quarterbacks were really good or the defenders were not so much. But when you give up between the two teams 869 yards in passing, I think that would lead you to believe that maybe it wasn't quite the best of days for the defenders. Punters weren't employed very much that day. Arizona State had 1 punt. Texas Tech, it looks like Tech had 1 and Arizona State had 2. Okay, so not a whole lot there, but red zone chances. Texas Tech was 6 of 8. In other words, scored 6 times out of 8 opportunities, and Arizona State was 4 for 4. So there you go. Arizona State's quarterback was Manny Wilkins that day. I don't recall him as really standing out. But
seems like he was more of a runner than a thrower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's the story there. Thoughts, comments, the Yates Morning Center chat line. Go to the WT97.3 mobile app. One other NFL note this morning. We talked about this yesterday, so just kind of a morning drive follow-up here. Graham Gano for the New York Giants has been placed on injured reserve. That's after he had a hamstring injury that kept them from having a kicker in their ball game against the Washington Commanders on Sunday. Here's a note from that game. They did not, the Giants, attempt any field goals and became just the second team in NFL's history to score 3 touchdowns and lose to a team that didn't score any. Washington kicked 7 field goals in the game. So they signed off the Detroit Lions practice squad kicker Greg Joseph. And the Commanders, remember they had traded for a kicker? And then they released him, and then they signed a new kicker, and that kicker went out and went 7 for 7 on Sunday.
It's good.
Yeah, but what's crazy is you don't really see that many trades, and then you don't really see that many trades for a kicker, where a team is like usually there's like a stockpile of kickers that are just kind of hanging around the kicking compound in various cities, whether it's. And they're kind of all usually in the Metroplex. It seems like that's where they all kind of live, and they practice, and they have kicking guru coaches, and they wait for their phones to ring, or then they gather at the local watering hole, and
they all go to the same coffee shop.
They watch the game on Sunday, and when somebody misses a kick from 32 yards, they're all looking at their phones, waiting for their agent to go. You need to be in blah 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 Tampa, or, whatever, name the city tomorrow morning for a kicking competition.
Are they wearing their jeans and boots and cowboy hats?
No, I don't think so.
Thought that was the uniform for a kicker.
Yeah. No, I don't. I think the jeans and boots and cowboy hats I don't think we see as much of that anymore.
Why not?
It's too hot.
I mean, they're all in Dallas, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, they're not.
Home of the Cowboys? Wouldn't you figure there'd be guys dressed like cowboys there?
6 shooters on their belt and all
I'm
that
saying.
Kind of
Hey, if you're going to be ridiculous, so am I.
Okay. Just go ahead and add to it, right? Okay.
That's what we do. It's the morning drive.
Somebody says sounds like 6-man football. Yeah. Have you ever been to a 6-man game?
I have not. I would actually enjoy going to one. I've always wanted to, but I've never gotten around to doing it.
I've seen and done 8-man, but I've not seen or done 6-man.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is September the 18th. We're winging our way through September pretty easily, 2024. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1938. The Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers played a football game. Chicago won 2-0.
Oh, 2-0.
How'd they get the 2, Jeff?
Safety.
Okay, yes. Or it could have been a forfeit. Isn't a forfeit 2-0 as well?
I think it's 1-0. That way it's easily identifiable because you can't just score 1 point in football.
I'm going to go with Jamie on that. I'll Google that.
I thought it was 2.
I think Jamie's correct.
I thought it was 2 also. But I was wondering how they got the safety.
Oh, I don't know. I
blocked through the back of the end zone, or
I don't know. How about a snap to the punter that went over somebody's head?
Those are the fun ones, yeah.
1954, Rick Spink scores twice and kicks 5 extra points as the Texas Tech Red Raiders rout Texas A&M 41-9 in its first win in College Station.
All right.
In the NFL, forfeits are a score of 2-0 unless the forfeiting team was already losing when the forfeit occurred. In that case, the score at the time of the forfeit stands.
Wonder why a team would forfeit once the game has started.
I think it's just a rule that they have in there,
Yeah, but what would cause that, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
1963, the final Major League Baseball game at the Polo Grounds in New York City took place. 1,752 people see the Philadelphia Phillies defeat the New York Mets 5-1.
Huh. I thought there'd been more people there.
For a Mets game? Nah, that's about right. 1968, Ray Washburn of the Cardinals no-hits the San Francisco Giants 2-0. 1984, Tim Raines is the first player with 4 consecutive 70 stolen base seasons.
Wow.
The fact that didn't say Ricky Henderson is the first player with it
70 is
shocking.
A lot of stolen bases.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
1991, in something that I'm not sure can happen ever again. NCAA places Tennessee on a 2-year probation for football recruiting violations.
What would you have to do to get?
I don't know. I was just thinking the same thing. I don't know what you'd have to do.
I mean, I don't know. Unless they caught, Joey Maguire on the phone with TCU's quarterback,
Yeah, I think tampering is going to be the next thing that kind of comes up for people.
Yeah.
We now have our yearly conversation because on this day in 1994, Ken Burns' documentary miniseries Baseball premieres on PBS. It would win an Emmy for Outstanding Informational Series. Jamie, have you seen Baseball yet?
Nope, I have not.
Yeah. You would. It is so up your alley when it comes to baseball stories and information and how we got where we are in baseball. I'm shocked that you haven't seen it yet.
I am too.
We need to get Tim Tadlock to get it to you guys so you can watch it on your road trips.
Well, he could do it. He can download it. Why does Coach Tadlock have to do that?
Because then Jamie will have to watch it because Tim Tadlock told it's like forced information as opposed to him reading box scores.
You assuming that I just do everything Tim Tadlock tells me to do?
No, you're going to be on the bus with them. He will be controlling the remote.
He would probably tell me to drink some coffee and I would adamantly disagree with him.
And in 2004, down 21-0 to TCU, Texas Tech scores 56 straight points as Jared Hicks earns 211 yards, receiving an 8 catches in a 70-35 win.
Were you at that one, Chuck?
No, I was not at that one.
You were not. That was part of my 3 football games in 24 hours. I did a high school football game in Longview, Texas. Finished up at about 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Drove overnight to Lubbock. Got up. Went to that 11 a.m. kickoff.
What year was this?
2004.
Oh, I was at that game. Yeah.
Yeah. Drove to Lubbock. Slept in the hotel room for like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the 11 a.m. game. Watched the game till the end of the third quarter. Drove to Cisco. Called a junior college football game.
Mm-hmm.
That started at like 6 o'clock or something, and then turned around and drove back to Tyler.
Yeah.
So got home at like 4 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Oh, man.
Saw 3 football games, and I mean, seriously, a little over 24 hours, about 28 hours. East Texas, West Texas, back to East Texas.
I did a high school football game, a junior college football game, went to a Big 8 football game, went to a NFL game, and then went to Game 7 of the World Series between a 7 o'clock on a Friday night and 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. That was a pretty good night.
Happy National Rice Krispie Treat Day.
Oh, yeah. Who can't get behind that? Jamie?
Oh, I'm a fan.
Okay. I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate chips in it too, or no?
No, thanks.
No thanks?
Yeah. I think I like them just as much when they are made with Cocoa Pebbles, with Fruity Pebbles.
I just like them straight up. Just straight up Rice Krispie treats.
Fruity Pebble ones are really good.
We normally don't do people who have passed. However, happy non-birthday, I guess, to former Red Raider baseball player Brooks Wallace. Would have celebrated a birthday today. Okay. Mike Singletary is 36. Former head coach Tommy Tuberville is 70.
Wait a minute. Mike Singletary is
36.
Oh, you're
basketball player.
Basketball player. Okay. It's just
Only 36?
Yeah. I thought the same thing. But then I was like, no, that's just sit back and think about it. That makes sense.
What year was his 43-point game against the Aggies in the Big 12 tournament?
2000? 99? Something like that? However, Jamie's going to stop looking this up because he needs to celebrate Tony Kukoc turning 56 today.
The Croatian sensation.
And on this day,
glorious day, Chuck.
On this day, 1793, George Washington lays the cornerstone for the United States Capitol building, the home of the legislative branch of the American government. Building would take nearly a century to complete. As architects came and went, the British set fire to it, and it was called into use during the Civil War. Today, the Capitol building, with its famous cast iron dome and important collection of American art, is part of the Capitol complex, which includes 6 congressional office buildings and 3 Library of Congress buildings, all developed in the 19th and 20th centuries. And that is This Day in Sports History.
This Day in Sports History. Well, just kind of hearing that Tommy Tuberville is 70 today. His last year here in Lubbock was 2012. That's 12 years ago. He sure seemed older than 58 when he was here. As a guy that's 63 now, and maybe it's just because I still act like I'm 12 sometimes. It just seems like his 58 seemed old, an old 58. As I think about it now. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just do you think
Jeff is right on Mike Singletary's 36? Trying to figure out the year that he scored that 43-point game. Well, how many points did he have in a row? 29 straight.
Yeah,
it's just
crazy.
Amazing.
Crazy number.
Yeah.
Do you think I could be a senator at 70?
Sure you could.
No? You said you didn't want to be a senator.
No, I think I think a congressman would be really cool, but you have to run every 2 years for that.
It was 09, by the way.
09.
Yeah.
I think being one of 50 of those guys would be pretty good.
I thought you wanted like the state legislature or something.
No. House of Representatives or senator, because that's where the cooler parties are. There's more power at the state house, but I'd just rather be at the, better parties, which I think is in D.C.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us, with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Chuck Heinz. We'll have High School Fan Zone on the air for you tonight. Friendship coaches, Lubbock Cooper coaches, Liberty Cooper coaches, all coming in to visit with Randy Rosetta here in the First United Bank studio. That'll be from 7 to 8:30. We'll have the Friendship game and the Lubbock Cooper game and the Liberty game all on our airwaves this week. So be looking for that as they will. Liberty will play at Seminole, and Friendship travels to Lubbock Cooper while Lubbock Cooper plays host to Friendship. We'll have the Lubbock Cooper broadcast on 100.7 The Score, and the Friendship broadcast will be on Double T 97.3. Okay, so it'll be like how I did that.
That's good.
Lubbock Cooper plays host to Friendship, and Friendship travels to Lubbock Cooper.
Yes.
Just trying to be funny.
Okay.
It's just epic fail. So we'll have that. We'll have that for you on Friday night. Some other games that we're carrying this week. Monterey is at Odessa High. That'll be on Thursday night. That'll be at 7 on 93.7 The Eagle as far as the kick is concerned. Coronado plays at home. That's a 4 o'clock game on Thursday. And we'll have the Coronado broadcast on 96.9 The Bull. And then also Liberty is at Seminole taking on the Indians. I think they're still the Indians. I hope they still are. I hate it when teams change their name just because of political correctness. It just drives me insane.
I think they're still the Indians.
Yeah. We'll have that on 93.1 Yes FM. And then Idalou. They're undefeated. They will play at home on Friday, and we'll have that on Sunny 97.7. Okay.
Syntax Hank, by the way, off the Yates Learning Center chat line, has quite possibly the greatest solution for Jamie.
It's okay.
All he has to do to break Chuck from offering him to make brisket is just tell him it's too dry and not tender enough.
Yeah, it's okay.
That is the biggest insult you give somebody that makes brisket. Yeah. That it's too dry or that it's not tender enough.
It's all right. It's okay. It's no biggie.
The chat line is eating me up, and it's totally fair. I should not be honest. I should.
No, I think I appreciate
you guys pushed me, and you got me to crack. Okay.
I wasn't even trying to get you to crack.
Okay. All right. I mean, once, twice, 3, 4 times you offer to make me food, and I say thanks, but no thank politely, and it keeps coming. Okay, sooner or later, you're going to get an honest answer. Okay?
No, I mean, it's okay. I'm not going to ask you anymore.
Okay.
I promise. I'm going to write that.
I mean, very politely. Said no thank you.
Yeah, no thank you.
Very politely. Yeah. Okay?
So I was wondering about this because I see and I'm not trying to be critical here, but maybe I am, that Texas Tech has played Arizona State 4 times. That's in kind of the modern era. You played them in 1999, which was Spike Dykes last year, and Tech lost that. I believe that was an opening game for the season, 31-13, but you lost Ricky Williams in that game. And that was just a huge, huge injury for the Red Raiders. And then you didn't play him again until 2013, which was in a bowl game, and Tech won 37-23. And then
Holiday Bowl?
And then most recently, lost there in 2016, 68-55, and then won in 2017. That was Cliff Kingsbury's last year, 52-45. But
it's funny, I remember the recent loss to them. I do not remember the recent win against them. I remember the bowl game. I don't remember us. I remember Kalen Ballage just running all over us, and Mahomes was the quarterback, right? What year?
Mahomes was the quarterback in 2016. He threw for 5 touchdowns and 540 yards, 38-53. But you gave up 68 points that night. Yeah,
and I remember that one. I do not remember the return trip to Lubbock and us beating them. I do not remember that one.
That was a Nick, and we talked about this earlier. He had 543 yards, but he threw for 6 touchdowns that night. Mm-hmm. So,
good day. Maybe his best game as a Red Raider.
Probably so. Yeah. Probably so, and a formidable opponent. You did play them in 1937 to start off a 8-4 Sun Bowl year, because in those days they played just 11 games. Tech won 6-0 at home, and then you played them again in 19. I had this right here. It was like 1941 or something. Yeah, 1939, which was a Cotton Bowl year for the Red Raiders, your first Cotton Bowl. And you beat them 54-0.
All right.
The Cotton Bowl year was 1938. I'm sorry. You went 10-1 in 38. You went 5-5-1 in 39. It was the 39 Cotton Bowl from the 38 season. But you went and beat them, like a drum. Didn't play them that often in the Border Conference. I mean, it's not one of those deals where you played them every year. It seems like you played Arizona in those days more than you played Arizona State for whatever reason. Not sure of the round robin type aspect of the Border Conference rules and whatnot. But let me ask you this: you have your choice. What are you more confident in, or what are you more scared of for Saturday? Are you more confident in how your offense will play, or are you more concerned? Scared may be the wrong word to use. Concerned, skeptical of how the defense will play.
I think I'm more confident in the way the offense will play. I mean, the numbers bear out that you seem to score a bunch of points when you're playing at home. Mm-hmm. And I told you guys yesterday, I'm not trying to poo-poo Arizona State, and I will tell you, I think they're good enough to come in here and compete and possibly even win. But I'm not just enamored with their 3-0 start. It's better than we thought they would be. But again, it's only Mississippi State in name, okay? And Texas State may be a decent team, but I don't think they're a great team, okay? And Wyoming is terrible this year. They're not the same team that they were a season ago, okay? So I think it's a good start for them, but I don't think that we're going to end up saying, hey, they were picked 16th and finished 6th in the Big 12. I don't think that's going to play out that way. I think by the time it's all said and done, they're probably going to end up 11th or 12th in the Big 12 Conference. Okay, so I don't fear them just because of this 3-0 start. So I'm more confident in your offense. Again, you seem to score a bunch of points at home. You look like you were clicking on all cylinders last week. You've got a healthy Taj Brooks again. I don't think there's any questions about your quarterback being healthy at this point. So they should take away a lot of offensive confidence from last weekend when you pretty much just did whatever you wanted to do. But to flip it over, though, I also have some confidence that your defense is going to continue to improve. I mean, I feel like that Tim DeRuyter has done a great job while he's been here as your defensive coordinator. And even though the first 2 weeks were bad, just kind of felt like, okay, well, they're going to get some things figured out. And I feel like it's progressively gotten better as we've gone along. So I think Arizona State will challenge your defense. I don't think that you're going to hold them to 14 or anything like that, but I think your offense is going to win the day for you.
And I think maybe defensively, well, they've been young and somewhat inexperienced and things like that. Now we're 3 games in, and so the shock and awe of the bright lights and the crowd and some of that stuff may have worn off. Because that
sure would hope so.
Because that seemed to be part of the problem with the opening week.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the problem at Washington State or if it was just.
Plus, it's a 2:30 kickoff, so there shouldn't be any bright lights.
Yeah, right.
Just the sun.
Sun, might be some rain. Depending on maybe a little electricity in the air. So, put your running shoes on so that you can dodge the lightning as best you can.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so my question today involves the 8 new schools that we've added to the Big 12 Conference over the last 2 years.
All right.
Okay, Arizona State is on the schedule this weekend, so they would be included in that mix.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
You've got more upcoming, including one next week at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Okay, so I want you to take those 8 teams. I want you to tell me the 2 that overall, not just football, but just overall, the 2 schools that you feel like you dislike the most. And I want you to tell me the 2, because you don't really like them the most, but you dislike the least. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Because it's not like you're rooting for anybody, but so who are the 2 that you already don't like, and who are the 2 that you're like, I'm okay with them?
Yeah. Truth be told, for whatever reason, I think it was because of their logo. I don't know if it's because of that they I just always kind of liked them in the Pac-12. I didn't really follow them. I didn't have celebrate victories or mourn losses, but Arizona State was always one of those schools for me. I just liked them for whatever reason. Okay. I think I liked the Sun Devil logo. I think that was really what attracted me to them. So I'll say Arizona State is one for me. I'll say the school I just despise being in the Big 12 is Houston. I think an easy school to say is Colorado, but I don't really. It's really more about them leaving and then coming back, but I'm plus or minus on Colorado in terms of that. A school that I still can't get over that's in the Big 12 is TCU, but I mean that's not quote one of the new schools here in the last 2 years. Utah is a school that I dislike. So those Utah and Houston will be my 2 schools that I dislike. I'm going to add UCF in that because I don't know, I think that'll be fun to go to UCF, and they got space stuff there, and I always kind of like Gus Malzahn anyway as a coach. So I'll take UCF and Arizona State, and then the schools I don't like, Utah and Houston.
Okay.
So the schools that I don't have anything against would probably be Arizona and Arizona State for the time being. I imagine that the competition between between Tech and those two schools is going to elevate that, so that answer is going to change, which would then lead me toward UCF, and oddly enough, Cincinnati, I think, is where the next tier of that would be for teams that I don't have anything against. I really like what Arizona and Arizona State bring to the conference across the board in sports, that they're going to be participating in all of those sports, and then they're bringing talent with them. So the competition there is going to be fun. But if they hang a half 100 on us and, across the board and everything and just absolutely dominate us, I'm going to hate them very quickly. For the hate, it's Houston first, second, third, and fourth. And then I've got to kind of figure out if I want to put Utah, Colorado, or in that next tier. And I lean toward Utah, but Colorado's close because there's Colorado hatred from when they were in the Big 12 the first time. But we just got rid of our arrogant people, and now we got more. So that's kind of where I'm.
There's always going to be arrogant people.
Yeah, but we just got rid of one, and we got another one coming in, and we haven't even played a game against them yet, and I already hate them.
Like when you guys get rid of me, the next person will be as
He'll
arrogant.
have a tough job to follow a legend.
No, they'll be just as arrogant. Or perceived to be arrogant.
I mean, you don't want to follow the legend, man.
No.
People. The chat line will be aglow with, I miss Chuck Heinz. Where's Chuck Heinz? I mean, that's what they say when Choice is filling in for you.
I'd also put BYU in that list of teams that I like, that I don't have anything against. Yeah. Like after the two Arizona schools do something to offend me, that BYU could.
Who are your two answers on each one?
Arizona State.
Okay.
Happy they're here. Welcome to the conference. The two I hate, Houston × 4, and then Utah.
So you're making like good cookies for Arizona State, and the bad cookies for Utah and Houston.
Jeff only makes good cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why ruin the cookie? The cookie didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Arizona and Arizona State would be my second tier of don't have anything against them. Okay, both of them. I'm glad they're in the conference. I like where they are geographically. I don't have serious hatred for either one. Arizona State put it on us in baseball last year, but that was more about our struggles than it was them. So I'm good with those schools. But the two that I feel like I'm the least bothered by right now, BYU, I've told you guys before, like every BYU fan I meet seems to be really
very nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Across town or all across town. And so I definitely have them high on my list of teams that I'm not, like I said, I'm not rooting for them, but I'm not rooting against them, so to speak. All right, the other one is Cincinnati. And I think the reason it's Cincinnati is just like, I just have no opinion of them. They're just so far away. Sure. I don't know much about their fans. They haven't annoyed me at all. Okay. Yeah, well, and I mean, it's partially because we haven't really played them. Right. If they win here next week, I'll probably take them off my list. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, those are the two that I feel like I dislike the least. The two that I dislike the most, Colorado, for a bunch of different reasons, okay? Partially the leaving, coming back thing, partially the Deion Sanders thing, and partially the we don't have a baseball team thing, okay?
I think that we don't have a baseball team would top your list.
All of those things factor in. And, partially they've dominated us in football over the years for some stupid reason. Okay? And my second one that I don't like, I think their fans are arrogant, and we figured that out even before they were a member of the Big 12 Conference, and that's UCF. I'm just not a huge fan of them, although I was rooting for them last weekend against TCU. And also they put a poll for me to try to call baseball games. They put a poll in front of me, so I can't see the field. Could we move the poll UCF or get a better press
I thought
box?
you were going to say Utah, because Utah really irritated you.
Yeah, they're in the mix. Yeah, but UCF more.
I think once you go to Cincinnati and after 72 people ask you about the Skyline Chili, you'll be like, okay, I've had enough of this place.
Who's going to ask me about it?
Just people there.
They just come up to random people. Have you tried the Skyline
Chili? You tried the Skyline Chili. We got Skyline Chili right over here.
Okay, that will be annoying. Yeah.
We'll see how that works for you.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This is Wednesday, the day the work gets done, with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you continuously on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, also the Visual Edge IT hotline. Number of you weighing in on the Skyline Chili. Somebody says this: I'm sure the Skyline spaghetti is probably delicious, worth a try, and if it's great, that doesn't mean all our old, normal, boring tomato sauce spaghetti disappears suddenly. Try something new and different. Broaden your horizons. I think Jeff is best at that, of broadening the horizons of the three of us.
I would agree. I will say I am the worst.
I'm right there. I'm a close second.
Yeah.
This with regard to Kareem Hunt, I disagree. That was 6 years ago. He's a mistake, cost him 3 Super Bowls plus a bunch of other opportunities. He had to play in Cleveland. If he's taken steps to grow as a person, no issue with him. That said, I would have preferred bring back Jerick McKinnon over Hunt. Okay. Somebody wants to know if Skyline Chili has beans. You can get that as an option or without beans. Doesn't, this whole
because of the spaghetti, I would go without beans.
I would agree with you on that. Somebody says a little hot for chili. I would agree with that. Still, it's a little hot for chili. Excited for when Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, Pitt, and Louisville join the Big 12 after the ACC breaks up. I don't think that's going to happen.
The ACC breaking up, or those teams coming to the Big 12?
Not all of those teams will come to the Big 12.
Well, if what's going on now, and they're considering giving them a higher amount of revenue than the other schools in that conference, then it does feel like
it might break up or it might stay together.
I could go either way on that, because it feels like those are the schools that are going to hold it together, but are the rest of them going to say, we can't compete with those schools now? Why would we do that? And then maybe if the Big 12 could offer them more, maybe they would consider leaving.
And it might be the cost of doing business too, of staying in there. No. I still think at some point in time we're going to have a super conference or whatever, super league, however you want to do it, that will be football, and that the conferences per se, I think even including men's basketball and the women, will revert back to normal geographic conferences, because the cost of travel and doing business is continuing to increase, and that leads me to Knoxville, Tennessee.
It just feels like that would just take so much backtracking and changing conferences that would be really hard to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, to send all those basketball programs back to the Southwest Conference and it just feels like that would be.
I don't know that it would be back to the Southwest Conference.
But you said it was going to be regionally, right?
Yeah, but I think it'd be more. I think it'd be more Big 12, where you would have the 2 Kansas schools, Iowa State, Missouri, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Texas Tech, that kind of central region, and then the same thing with regard to the Pac-12 and the ACC. I do like what the SEC has done in terms of staying at least somewhat regional, so that you can at least make a day trip of going to a football game. But get this: this was sent to football season ticket holders yesterday in Tennessee. I appreciate the transparency here. I don't like it, but I appreciate the transparency. Danny White, not the former number 11 for the Cowboys, but the athletic director for Tennessee, sent this out along with a 4-minute video. That's a little bit too long, Danny, for people with the attention span like me. I probably wouldn't have watched it. I probably would have just read your email. It's believed to be the first of its kind. Tennessee fans for all sports will be charged, Jamie, a 10% talent fee on tickets to help pay athletes as part of the new revenue sharing plan to begin in 2025. University shared the news with football season ticket holders yesterday, telling fans the talent fee and other strategies were, quote, part of an extensive plan to continue our dominance in college athletics and build something like never seen before. In addition to the 10% increase on all ticket invoices, season tickets, and single game purchases, as well as donations for those seats, Tennessee will average an increase of 4.5% on all football season tickets, on all football tickets. White says this: in this era of name, image, and likeness, there has never been as close a connection between resources and competitive success. We want to be a leader in college sports. That means we want to be a leader in revenue sharing. I have to think this is coming to every program in the Power Four.
I don't doubt that. I do disagree with you in that I don't want the transparency. If Texas Tech feels like they need to raise the ticket prices, raise the ticket prices. Don't make it in some fee on top of. Raise the ticket prices. Take your cut out of there to pay for whatever you got to pay, including paying the athletes. Don't make me buy a ticket for whatever, $100 and then add $10 onto it to pay the athletes. Okay? Just tell us ticket prices are going up.
Yeah, I think the problem, I understand what you're saying. Look, I could go both ways on this, but I think if you were to just hand out a 14.5% ticket increase, people go, what the hell's this?
You'd be a moron not to be able to figure it out.
Well,
right?
Maybe
everybody
so.
knows.
Yeah, it's.
I just don't want to be told, hey, you're paying the athletes.
Now, Tennessee has this advantage for them with regard to football. They have sold out Neyland Stadium 15 consecutive games. They led the SEC in home attendance last year, averaging 101,000 plus per game. And for the last 2 years, they've sold all 70,500 of their season tickets, and there's a waiting list of 15,000. So when you have that demand on your supply, I mean, you can probably lose 10% of your season ticket base and go, hey, we got another 20% over here that's more than willing.
I don't think they'll lose 10%.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think those people will just pay it.
He says this in his video. Y'all wanted a winner, and our teams have responded in big and bold ways. We've just begun this thing. So they're passing the buck along to the fan base. Albert says this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought NIL deals came from other entities, not the school. Well, this
about to change.
This lawsuit that's being settled is going to allow schools like Texas Tech and Tennessee and others to spend somewhere between $20 and $30 million to give back to their athletes, and that's primarily going to go to football and men's basketball, and primarily football.
It's crazy to me that the athletic directors still use the term NIL.
And
it's not name, image, and likeness. It's pay to play.
Yeah. Somebody says disagree with JL. Just raise the prices. We all know why.
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.